So we are learning about the laws of an employee that you have to pay them on time. A day employee you have to pay before morning rises. That's the Pasuk that talks about that you have to sullen. And a night employee you have to pay the following day before the sun sets. And we also said that if you're not the one who hired them and someone else hired them, neither of you are responsible. And we left off with the question yesterday. We have a rule, shliach shalom k'moisa. If you send someone an agent, like we had this Amoraim that would hire for each other, if you send an agent, then shliach shalom k'moisa. Why are we saying that this person is no longer responsible? It's not like we learn by Nadorim. There's a pasuk isha, for them there's a special pasuk there. But over here, why would you say that he's not chayiv? So this is a question that the Shainim ask. And some of the Shainim answer, which is difficult to understand, that shlichus only works when it benefits you. Here, it actually harms you because you'll be even aved if you don't pay on time. Which is, you have to understand that because we have the whole concept of ein shlich dvar avera, and the only reason if he tells someone to do an avera which harms you, and the only reason why you're not considered the mishaleach, it's not considered a shlich, is we have all these psukim that we learned in second page kedushin. Otherwise, it would have been a shlich. So what does it mean? But it's exactly the word that it uses. There's no shlich like you use. Which is so I'll give you another answer. Yeah, no, the whole shlichus here is, I guess it's liable. You're putting yourself in a position that you might do something wrong. What about you tell the shlichus the guy steal for you? Mamish tell him doing it, and yet you need sukkah for that, otherwise you'll be chayv. Then so the answer that the Achronim give is that we had the Margit in a whole concept called mili lemem shel shliach. That if you give words to one shliach, he cannot appoint another shliach because there's nothing to transfer to the other shliach. Big machlek is a sheni Rambam, Ramban, and others. What about the first shliach itself? If all you gave him was you didn't give them money to a get to give to a woman, or you didn't give them a ring to give to a woman, you just gave instructions, words. Mili lemem shel shliach. Does that work with the first person or not? So if you hold that mili lemem shel shliach does not work with the first person, then here it says, well, the employer tells a shliach words. Go hire me people. Words cannot be given over the shliach. That's the problem. In fact, interesting. There's a Bes Yosef in Hilchos Purim, who has a fascinating machlekes, interesting Michael Purim, not in Hilchos of davening. The Bes Yosef there on the tour talks about the idea of a shliach tzibur. What's the role of a shliach tzibur? Is he a shliach or is it because of shemei koina? And the big difference in halacha is that if the chazan is a shliach, then you don't have to be in shul because you can be anywhere. A shliach is might you anyway, but if it's shemei koina, you have to be in shul. So the Yosef has a little bit of a pulpul. Very interesting. Tough rate. Early tzaddiks. Can't remember exactly where. Okay, let's continue. Kuf Yud Aleph. Says the Gemara. We are up to, so we concluded that you're only over Baal Tol in the very first morning after, and beyond that, there's only Midrabanan of Baal Tisha. Says the Gemara, the two dots, about 10, 15 lines on top of the page. So the Mishnah says, Chir Shoyes, Goiva Kol Alayla, if you're high for a few hours, you collect all night, V'chol Hayom, and the whole day. We have a Chlek Rabba Shmuel, which we will come back to. Rav said, Chir Shoyes the Yom, if you're high for a couple of hours in the morning, then Goiva Kol Hayom, you have the entire day to collect your pay, and beyond that, you're able on Avera for not paying on time. Chir Shoyes the Laila, the guy works, casual work for a couple of hours at night, Goiva Kol Alayla, they can only collect all night. The following morning, you're already over if you didn't pay. Comes along Shmuel and says no, and this is what the way we learn the end of our Mishnah. Shmuel says, Chir Shoyes the Yom, you're right, by day, Goiva Kol Hayom. But Chir Shoyes the Laila, if you work at night, then a few hours, Goiva Kol Halayla V'chol Hayom. A night shift worker who goes a few hours has the rest of the night and the following day to get paid. And what's the logic of that? So I told you yesterday what Taisa says. Rashi gets this a lot. Taisa said, when the way the wording of the pasuk is, when it comes to night, it has to be on entire night has to go by before you're over. Since you work part of that night, so you're not over for the night until the following day. Mashing, when it comes to day, you don't need an entire day to wait for your wages to be over. Even if you only wait a couple hours, you're already over. But Rashi says an interesting thing. Rashi says, by us, night is a new day. So if you worked by day, then a few hours by day, then you cannot wait till the following day. That's till night time's the following day. You have to get paid on the day. But if you're working at night a few hours, the following day is still part of the same day. So therefore, you're not over. That's what Rashi says.
Rashi is measuring and isolates from whenever your work finishes.
It calls it a day. It says, so a day. So night and day is one day. Okay, so now I'm going to go question as I have. Time we learn the mission of Chisha. They will allow the Chalayim says clearly that is Chisha. At night the day Tifta Rav, when recorded Rav never happens. Amloch Rav lives doding tani. Doesn't mean the same person works a few hours and he has a night and a day to get paid. It depends. If you work a little bit at night, you have the night to get paid. But by day you get paid. Schisha the Yom Gavukal Yom, Schisha the Lila Gavukal Lila. The night at night. So the Gemara says at the end of the Mishnah, you Schish Shabbos, Schish Chodesh, Schish Shana, Schish Shvuah. If you work for a week, a month, a year, a 7-year cycle, is you don't get paid till the very end. Is the Yitzeh big? If you finish during the day, Gavukal Yom, you have all day to get paid. Yitzeh, it doesn't matter. You've been working for 7 years before. If you stop in the middle of the day, you get paid all the day. Yitzeh B'Laila. If at night you stop working, then Gavukal Lila. V'Chol Yom. It's clear in our Mishnah, night and day. Rav says you're right. Al Mishnah cannot argue with the end of the Mishnah, but tonight it's actually a machlekes tonight. The time we learned Chishay the Yom Gleiv Kolayim, Chishay the Laila Gleiv Kolayim. Yehuda and I hold the same thing. Rav Shimon says Chishay the Yom Gleiv Kolayim, and if you work by day, you have all day to collect it for a few hours. And Chishay the Laila is Gleiv Kol HaLaila v'Chol HaYom, and this Chishay the night you have all night day. That's what Shmuel says. Based on this, they say that anybody who holds back paying the wages, over 5 different averas that you are over. Like having more makas, we'll learn ochel putis and all that you can do one ma'isa and be over so many different averas. But the assay, and there's an assay as well. It says you should be over tikkun chorei. So there's an assay as well. These are the Vedas. You shouldn't cheat your friend. Don't steal. These are different psukim. We have, it's very important, as we'll see more soon. There's one pasuk in Kedoshim where it lays out certain things, and there's one pasuk in Pasuk Kisete which lays out certain things, and different lav in different places. So we put all the lav, a bunch of them all together because the theme is the same, and so too it says Kisete says like shasik sochir oni ve'evyon. You should which is baltashik. You should not cheat the a poor person, an evyon, an impoverished person, and there's also balsolin, which is in Parshas Kedoshim. And the Gemara before said, one pasuk talking about a worker of the day, and one pasuk talking about a worker of the night. That's the assay. You should pay him on time. And this is Kisei again that we don't want the sun to set. This is a night worker. Kisei talks about a night worker, and Kisei talks about a day worker. It could be a mama, like a mama. What are you talking about? How can one person be over 5? But one of the Vedas is for a person to get paid by day. One of the words should get paid by day. One of them should be paid by night. You're right. Shame is chidus ba'alma. We don't mean that one person will be over for 5. We just mean regarding this Aveda, there are 5 Avedas, Loisa says tagged to it, and one Asay. So what's it in cheating or stealing? We'll have a machlekes 3 opinions. Chizda comes along and says, well, simple. We had yesterday, if a person says he delays, if a person says, and this is the Baal Tasha, Leich, we tell the guy, Leich, go back, Vishu, come back, Leich, Vishu, go and come back. No, it's delaying. You're not saying I'm not going to pay you. You keep on delaying. Yeah, I'll pay you. Zehu Oshik. That's called Oshik, cheating. But you're not a ganef. Yesh loch biyodi when you know I have the money, but I refuse to pay you. Zehu Gazel. That's Gzela. Okay, so there's a difference between the two lavs. Not the same lav twice, two different lavs. Maskell Rav Shev, here's the question. It says in Parshas Vayikra, it talks about if somebody lies to his friend, it says, and he denies. And it says, the kichesh ba'amisa, he says, I don't know what you're talking about. I owe you nothing. And then he gives examples. It says, in the example, it says, beguzzled, stolen, oi, Oshak esamisa, or you cheated your friend. So these are all to do with the chichesh. The 2 examples you gave was for Oshak, he says delaying, you're not denying anything, and even Gezel, you're not denying that I owe you the money. I just refuse to pay you. How does that fit into the chichesh? So you but you only ask someone then. Ezel carbon do me the garden has to be similar to garden that he denies it. You're telling me Oshik means I might owe you money, I might you work for me, I don't have money, I'll come back tomorrow, delay. That's not the kichesh. I'll tell you the difference between Oshik and a Gaza. The Satib law, if he says I already paid you the Oshik, by saying I already paid you, that's already Oshik. I'm denying I owe you any money. Right, I'm denying that I owe you any money. That's kichesh. And yet, and what's a gazel? Yes, but I still stick to the same. Gazel could be that I refuse to pay you. That's like Vikichish. And the Gemara will say, well, why is that Vikichish? I'm still being, even in Gezel, I'm made that I owe you the money, I refuse to pay. Where's the Kichish over here? We'll soon see. Maskala Abaye says it's the same problem you had with Oishik. What? It's not Kichish, and therefore you change the whole shot of Oishik. You changed the whole shot of Oishik. You said, what? That I already paid you, I owe you nothing. No. So how come it doesn't bother you, Gezel? Ezel Gezel, I'll follow the same train of thought that you had. What's Gezel? Shechai will tell you, carbon duplicate, being the cover the money. You have to deny it. In the example that we gave before, and you agree with, I might owe you the money, I just refuse to pay. That's not kichish. Elo Abaye says, I'll tell you the difference between Oishik and Gezel. I don't know what are we talking about? Why do you come from me? I never hired you. Zeo Oishik, a denial. No sativlach zeu gezel. What you said oishik is, I say it was gezel. These are two examples of a denial, But gezel is worse because I'm moided that I owe you the money, and yet I say I don't owe you before I paid you already. Oishik says, and you never worked for me in the first place. I'm shaking gezel. I'm moided that I owe you the money. Exactly, but I paid you.
It's like the also Gazlan is the one who steals in the daytime.
He's brazen.
Just grab what he wants.
So you want to attack a question of Sheish. Sheish, Mashna Oishik the Kasha, Mashna Gezel the Kasha. Why did it bother him Oishik? Where's the Kichish? And Gezel did it bother him with the Kichishes? Abaye's question, why did it bother Rav Sheshes himself? Amalach, he says, Gezel, you look in the Torah, it says in the Pasuk, the Gezel, and then it says, V'kichish. So Gezel, the Gozle, V'hoder Kafre. So there's two cases, two stages. The Pasuk before the Pasuk, which says V'kichish, it says, if your friend gave a Pakod, a Trumas Yad, and all those things, including it says Gezel. And by Gezel, it sounds like first it was Gezel, and then it's V'kichish. So there's two stages. So therefore, first Gozle, first he says that first he said, I'm not going to pay you. First he said, I'm not going to pay you, and then which is not a real that's the way we said. I'm not giving you. Yes, but I'm not going to give you. That is the way when you came over to me to ask for money. That's what I said. But when you took me to a dentaida, then I was mekichish. So there were two stages, because two sukkim in Pazvayikra. One was what I told the guy, and one was went to court. However, why can't go back to our original shot? What Oishik is, where I say leich shuv, that's what I tell you. But when you take me to Torah, I deny it. Same thing. Says the Gemara. Why can't you just say that? You can't compare it. Why? It says oy begezel. It says the pasuk oy begozal. It's like a noun. Oy begozal. So there's two stages: begozal, and then what happens? Meklal oy le mekora. Gozal now sounds like a new thing. Now you stole now something new. Before you did one, you had one kind, and now in the bezin you come along and you have another type. Avagabi oishik. That which you did before. By the word oshak, it seems like is relating back to the previous pasuk. That which you did before the oshak. So there's only one stage of oshak. So therefore, oshak, I got a problem because if he never denied it, has a fentikichish. Must be the oshak chatzili you denied it. By gozel, it could be two stages. Now it became zela because before you said something else. The Rabbi comes along and says, I disagree with all of you. You decided citizens, no. Which we had in Ezer Neshech as well, why we have this thing. Because to tell you, even two Avedas for this. Even though you don't get Malchus, still you get two Lavim. Tashis points out there in Ezer Neshech. Okay, so we're right to the Mishnah. Now, this is a big Kiddush. Sorry? Yeah, or lav is tashlumin. You can always any lav that you can fix up. When there's no alkos. Echad schar adam. When we say that if you're delayed in paid wages, not just a worker, size a person. Echad schar whether you're hiring an animal. Echad schar kelim. Any bills? Yes, but we should be going by titan schar. Wow, people are over if you don't pay your bill on time, and by the next morning. However, we already had before that in the market, for example, you know that I don't have money till whatever the market day is on Thursday. There's no either. Exactly. So you have 30 days, 15 days, whatever it is, normal to apply. But if you're late after that, comes in Baltisha, no longer Baltolin, because we said before it's only the following morning. The moment it's later in the night, like I said, after the marketplace day, it doesn't kick in Baltolan. What happens then is Baltisha? And we'll soon see an interesting thing. The Yesh by Mashul Sal Paul Sachet also you have the Laval Sol. All the Laval apply to Behemoth and to Kalim. Amos, now this is an interesting thing. When are you over these Avedas? This man should tavoy only when the employee asks you for the money. Famous Tzachoshen, we learned that the mitzvah, please balchay mitzvah, you have to pay loans. Tzachoshen uses the same logic. It's only if the lender asks you for payment. If he doesn't ask you payment, it's on mitzvah. Yeah, exactly. So only bisman shetavi turns it into a aveda or a mitzvah. And if you didn't demand it, you're not over. You look for the mother. Which is move. It says this we already had before. Usually you swear and you're potter from paying. The only exception is you swear and you actually collect money. Money is in this case because we say the employer is so mixed up, he has so many workers and so on, that in this case we believe the sheikhah. But when only bismanai, mamish immediately after when he has to get paid. But day goes later. We don't allow the sheikhah anymore to swear and collect. If the maskir says, I paid you, he swears and he's potter. But there are agents that he did demand the money, but he didn't end up going to Bezin for a while. We still apply the same rule. He can swear and collect because he demanded his money. Ger Toisha, now another din. But Ger Toisha, so Ger Toisha, we have machlekes, and I'm not allowed to Ger Toisha, but here Ger Toisha is clearly that a Ger Toisha means, Rambam says Ger Toisha means he does all the 7 mitzvahs. Rashi always says Ger Toisha is someone who doesn't do avodah zarah. That's like the only thing he does. So the Mishnah says that Ger Toisha, yesh by Ger Toisha, we'll learn out from the pasuk in Devarim.
Rashi is a fault.
It has to eat. Okay, why in the gate Eichel of El Seifers is because the pasuk that we learn now, Ger Toisha, is from the word B'Sharecha. Where do we find the word B'Sharecha? It says about Nevela. Saying that the guy can still continue to eat Seifers in the yeah, of course you can, but he's not Seifers in the but so since the word B'Sharecha, which we're going to learn Ger Toisha, refer to Ger Toisha, and there is talking about Nevela, so therefore Rashi says over here, because that's the pasuk that we need. So Ger Toisha, because it's written in Devarim, he only has the Avedas that's written in Chumash Devarim, and not the Avedas that are written in Chumash Vayikra. So therefore, Ger Toisha, yes, by Moshe B'Yoyim Moy Titnas Chorev, or Ger Toisha has that B'Yoyim Moy Titnas Chorev, you have to pay him on time, which is in Parashat Kiseitze. And the Ein by Moshe L'Sam Posach that Ischa Boiker doesn't have the pasuk of Vayikra. We're not going to equate it to Psukim when it comes to Ger Toisha. Now, this part of the mission is a bit hard to understand because before we put all the psukim together, now something that comes to Ger Toisha, we just sort of sever the ties. Think about it. Mani, I say, who goes on mission? Like Tanakama, the Mochicha, not the Tanakama, which will see what he learns out from the word Ochicha, and the Loi, what do you call the Loi, Rabbi Yeshu Yehuda, Mai. What are we talking about? Who's Rabbi Yeshu? Which Tanakama? Tell me what's the Braille. Says in the pasuk, it says you shouldn't cheat. Sachir oni the Evyon me'achecha from your brothers. So that's the kiseitze. What do you mean me'achecha from your brothers? From your brothers, not all your brothers. Remember we had the beginning of Vayikra when it says me'achecha means from the not all the behemoths. Prat la'achedim. Prat to a goy. By a goy, there's no iser of the delaying pay. Gercha zeger tzedek. Jason has a fundamental question. He doesn't understand why you need a limit for Ger Tzedek when a Ger Tzedek is Mamashiyik. And he brings a few places where we bring a special limit for Ger Tzedek and he remains a Tzorechit. He doesn't understand why you need to bring limudim for Ger Tzedek when something he says sometimes we have Kol Ezer B'Yisrael, we remember Ger Tzedek. And why would you think otherwise? B'Sharecha, in fact, in Shulchan Aruch in Yeridea, where Hichas Sefer Torah, it talks about whether Mamzer can write a Sefer Torah, because maybe when it comes to the pasuk where Yovi Mamzer B'Kal Hashem, he won't do the Lishma because it's about him. So the Shach over there says, he says over there that a Mamzer has less mitzvahs than the Yisrael. He doesn't spell out which mitzvahs he has less. What mitzvahs the Mams have less. So if anything, if you want to exclude somebody, or somebody who has less mitzvahs, you should exclude Mamza. That's big machlekes. Big machlekes. The Rambam and others are big machlekes. Okay. Bisharecha. Oh, the word Bisharecha is Eichel Nevelis. That's the Ger Teisha. Because Bisharecha we use for lives now pasik. Ainli Ella. This is the Tanakama. So Ainli Ella's Charado. You know, is you hire a person. Also, they're including about troubles. Anything in your land, anything which affects you. Coach Barzcha. The Kulan Oivim B'Chol Hashem is Halalu. And we all the psukim say they're all bunched together, and anything. So Rav Tanakam holds everything is included. Okay. And Mekan Amru. Everything is included for everyone, and including and Gate Toishiv also is included for everything. So our Mishnah can't be the Tanakama, because our Mishnah isolates that a Gate Toishiv is different. Here Tanakama says they're all the same. Can't be the Tanakama. So this is what I basically do. He says Ger Toisha, which is our Mishnah, Yesh Boim should be going with that, which is in the Pasha you say applies to Ger Toisha, the Abraham Shalom because that's in Pasha Kadeshim. But then he goes further, Behema the Kalim, Ain Behema Mishum Tasha Bavad, and a Behema and Kalim only have the Isa Baltashik, which is written in that pasuk you learn by Artzacha. He says, well, only what's written in that pasuk. Only that pasuk. Not only we don't compare to Chumash Vayikra, even the next pasuk we have in Asay because it's not in that very pasuk of Ba'artzacha, we're not going to learn it. That's our Mishnah. Our Mishnah, whole Behema and Kalim, everything is included. So who's our Mishnah? Mani. Itadakama, Infazadakama, that's a Kashi Get Tosha. Then why is the Mishnah say Get Tosha different? And he Rabbi Yaisi, Kashi Behema Kalim. Amar Rava, says Rava. Haitan is a third Tana. Tanu Rabbi Shmoli. Rabbi Shmol is exactly like our Mishnah. Everything we compare everything. By Yikra Kiseitze, Ger Toshiv is Yesh Boy. Ger Toshiv is limited only to Kiseitze. Yesh Boy should be empty. Ain't Boy should be Tolim. Now let's go understand each one. My time Tanakama. What's this for Tanakama? He says it says the positive Me'achecha Gomad. He learns out. He learns out we have a Shava of here we're talking about Sashik Sochit, and in Kiseitze he talks about an employee as well. So we make a Shava. We make a Shava. And whatever applies here, applies there. So everybody who's over in Kiseitze is over Vayikra, but Vayikra is over Kiseitze, including the Gertation. But I basically he didn't learn it either because his Rebbe didn't tell him, and because Gershov you can't make your own. The heed the lagam very much. The heed lagam asachasach. Aber behema the kalim should be going my titans chorei nami mechayva. What we don't. Okay, so you don't compare Vayikra to Kiseitze, but in Kiseitze Gufa he limited it to only the pasuk was written ba'artzacha, which is leisashik. The very next pasuk where it says begoing my titans chorei v'leisav el Hashem, she said that doesn't apply to behema the kalim. And doesn't apply to Behema Kalim. Why not? It's the next pasuk. And the Gemara Nunam Mechayev Tanur Chanya Omakra, because they have a pasuk where it says in the next pasuk it says B'Yayim Tikkun Chorei V'Leisavay Olav Hashemesh Ki Anihu. What do you mean? What's that say Ki Anihu? So he says here, Mi Shein Boy Daniz Rashid is only somebody who's shaykh to be poor or rich. You know, it's not shaykh whole lenient. So therefore the pasuk is clearly excluding them. But more Tanakama. What Tanakama do tak is a good pasuk. Haiki only who might have to do with it. He needs it lahakdim oni losh. If you only have enough wages to pay one employee, you should pay the poor person rather than the rich person. You can ask, what do you need a pasuk for that for? Isn't that common sense? But nevertheless, you have to pay. We'll see in a minute. But Rabbi Yehuda, how does he know that since you're using Ki Anihu to tell you that to exclude Behema V'Kalim, how does he know that only comes before an Oshir? That he learned from the very pasuk before. It says Malay Sashik Sachir Oni V'Evyon Nafka. See, Oni is first. But Tanakama, he says Oni might be before an Evyon. Evyon is destitute, has zero. Oni has a hard life. And an Oni, now you're going to ask, why in the world would an Oni come before an Evian? You would think that it's a question of Rahmanis. First you give the Evian and then you give the Oni. We'll see in a minute. You have two psukim. One is we mark them an Oni for Asher, that's what Ki Oni who is. And the Chad Lahagdim Oni la Evian. I need both. You know why? Because he has to be an Evian, Now, this is not tzedakah. This is wages for work that you did. So if I only knew only the Evya, the Evya and the Shemtich he has such a hard life. He has no breda, so he'll go to the Balabas and Nujim and Parker. I won't get paid. But Osher, the cost of the midbay. But what do you call it? But an usher that is embarrassed to ask, because the guy say, "You have what are you so cheap? I don't have money. What are you asking me for? Getting you paid because you can live. You have enough money to live yourself." So an usher, the cost of me to ask a malloy. Maybe in that case he should get precedence because he's very embarrassed. An usher, the usher maybe the ani gets before the usher because usher tax doesn't need it. But an ani and Evian, who needs the money more? A malloy. See if I need both. The Tana Didan, so let's say that our mission, which is Tana Rishmo. How come when it comes to Behemoth Kalim, he says all the laws apply, and when it comes to Toshim, he says no, it's only one that pasuk. What's going on here? If he learns that this is Zeta Shabbat, then I feel like Toshim also all the dinim should apply, and he like Yalu Shabbat doesn't learn the Behemoth Kalim why Behemoth Kalim all the laws apply. Says he doesn't learn the Shabbat. B'shani Hashem Namakra, it says in Pasuk in Vayikra, it says, "Well, solely in Pu'ulas Sachit, you shouldn't leave it overnight." And Itcha, with you, Ad Baker. What's this with you? If literally, Pachap they don't hold the money with you. But we dashin, Kol Shu Pulasa Itcha, anything that worked with you, like a Behemoth Kalim, also don't loy solid. You have to pay straight away. No, so get also Itcha. He's with you. On Makra, there it says Re'echa. It says in the pasuk there, it says the pasuk starts off Loisashik es Re'echa, and it finishes off Itcha. So one pasuk is Marbe, Itcha is Marbe, and we Marbe Behemoth Kalim, and the Re'echa your friend, and not get Taishu. Doesn't apply to him. It's not your friend. Okay, you have one riba, you want meat. How do you know which one to include and which one to exclude? So Mara is the rabbi is Behemoth Kalim to Marbe Behemoth Kalim. Lohaitzi ger Toshim says Gemara. Bistabra. It makes sense. Behemoth Kalim Havalei Rabbi will include as if it's what. How come Behemoth called you friend? We actually had a Gemara a few weeks ago where the Gemara said Re'acha teaches you a Behemoth as well. But here the Gemara says, you know why Re'acha can include your Behemoth? It belongs to your friend. Ger Toishev ain't the B'chal Mamrech. You don't own the Ger Toishev. It's totally independent. So it's not shaykh at all in your Re'acha. So we exclude the Ger Toishev. The Tanakama who learns he learns from the pasuk from your what do you call he learns already from the word me'achecha that you exclude a guy. So what does he do with Re'acha, your friend? My Avdileh it doesn't apply to Amaleki at all. The Gemara said, Amaleki, don't you learn from Achicha Nafka? The same Achicha that excludes Goyim is Amaleki. Because you have a mitzvah to destroy all this stuff. Kimcha Zecher Amal, there's a beautiful letter from the Rebbe when they asked him about Germans, they lied about German products. And the Rebbe talks about that if Amalek is a nation or it's a concept. And if it's a concept, then it doesn't matter. Any nation that behaves like Amalek, the same then applies. And if it's a particular group of people, then we don't know who Amalek is today. So to exclude Amalek, Chad lemisha oshke v'chad lemisha gozle. By Amaleki, not only you don't have to pay, you can even steal from him. And we did have Gemara Bava Kamba about stealing from a guy Gezlakum. But and we'll have in Sanhedrin tested famous Rashi, but generally Gezlakim is also because of Chilashemba, because also Matadim and Rabban. But Amaleki is different. Utzricha we need it. The Yashmin Gzali is the old Salam should like Tarabay. Maybe got a Yerusha, whatever it is. So maybe therefore it's not a big deal that if you stole from him because he's a bad person. He's not honest in anything. So whatever he has is probably not his. But his wages, fact is he worked for you. So what if he's not Maleki, but he worked for you, so maybe you have to pay him. A Malay, therefore we need a pasuk for that. You didn't pay him yet, the money's still with me. I'm not taking anything away from him. I'm just like Havkas Halva, which will learn to you that there's no issa there. But when you stole it by him in his possession, you're taking it, but the high soul in Pulasach, what does he do with his and all that? He needs it for Look at Ravasi. The Amar Ravasi. Ravasi said, it doesn't matter how much you owe him, even if you just hired him to cut, to have a one grape. So how much you owe him? Mashu. There's no minimum. If you work, you have to pay. The Idach and the other town of where he learned from. He learns from the pasuk that says, "Meve'elav who noises nafsha and nafka." The pasuk says the reason why you have to pay him is because he puts his life on the line for you. And David Amoises nafshila. He could be putting his line on the line for you for working. Before that, he climbs trees and all that, as we'll see here. So therefore, you have to pay him. That's what it. So for there, he knows obviously, even for one grape, you have to pay him. That I need. What I do, why is this guy going up this ramp that might be very precipitous, or he's climbing trees, and these are dangerous stuff. And he put himself, he jeopardized his life. Isn't it to get paid? So that's why you have to pay. Another pshat is if you don't pay your employee on time, he's as if you killed him. We'll have to stop here. We'll think tomorrow about who killed who. Okay. Have a good